Greetings, friends, and welcome back to the Small Brain Podcast. I feel like we didn't leave on the greatest note on the last episode, recapping the China series, so I just want to take a little extra time and give you guys what you want, or at least what I want to give you, and that's really all that matters here at the Small Brain Pod. China was a beast, to recap. Uzbekistan to Kyrgyzstan, got stopped at the border, met the French girl, we hitchhiked across the border, to the border, got stuck, stayed in a World War II capsule hotel, very trendy, at the Chinese border. Basically was stranded, woke up the next day and had to figure it out, got across the Chinese border, may or may not have gotten questioned by the nice police officers there at the border, waited for 3 hours to get on a bus that no one wanted us to board, boarded anyway, got a really crazy ass video. I think there was 7 police checkpoints along the way, so very secure. Kashgar, Chinese police doing a very good job securing that region of the world. Very nice. If you think America is a police state, well, do a little traveling. From there, where did we go? Yeah, I think last episode I missed talking about Turpan. So from Kashgar, we took a domestic flight to Urumqi. If you look on a map, it's spelled Urumqi. For some reason in Mandarin, it says Urumqi. I don't know how it's done. I'm not a linguistic person. Talked to Tommy about that. Took a domestic flight. Terrifying. Flights in China are very scary. I feel like the pilots do not care about your personal comfort level. They'll get you there safely, I think. 100% accuracy so far. Definitely could have crashed with how bad the turbulence was. I have not experienced turbulence like that ever. Maybe the only other time was in, took a flight from somewhere in Thailand. I think it was Phi Phi Islands to Phuket to Osaka. Back when I lived there, I took a vacation. And the turbulence was really bad on that flight. Actually, the flight attendants were like, it's really bad when the flight attendants are spooked. Like I'm, pretty emotionally intelligent person. I feel like I can read people really well. And so I kind of looked to the flight attendants to see if I should be scared or not. And they were very scared on the Thailand flight. They were shouting, telling people to sit down, very energetic, a little too uppity, for my taste. I would like them to be a little more calm and reserved, but alas, we could have maybe fallen out of the sky. And I feel like they were responding to that energetically, and I could feel it on the flight, guys. And the same thing happened on the Chinese flights, several Chinese flights, because China's a big-ass country. I really wanted to overland all the way across. Just my OCD YouTuber brain wants to achieve these stupid goals, and that bring me no personal fulfillment, but they make for a great story. So we did not overland, because from Kashgar to Urumqi alone, within the same state of... what's it called? Xinjiang. I'm not sure how to say it. The Uyghurville over there in the west. It's like as big as, so one single state in China is like as big as the entire nation of Kazakhstan. Or Mongolia or something. It's one of those Central Asian countries that massive scale over there in China. It's really hard to understand how big it is. Like, I think it would have taken 20 hours on a train just to go from one city to the next. Whereas on a flight, I think it was like a 3-hour flight. So pretty much going from like one state to the next was like going, the entire length of the continental U.S. Don't fact check that. Just take my word for it. I'm a YouTuber, guys. Believe everything I say. Okay? Please don't make me look bad here. It's my channel, all right? It's probably wrong. But yeah, so we took a domestic flight. Very scary. Hung out in... I think we just stopped off in a random ass city. I think it was called I don't even remember. Oh, Urumqi. We spent the night in Urumqi, I think. And it was really sick, actually. The thing with China is you'll just pop up in a random city and you'll think we'll just stop over. And then the next day we'll do exactly what we want. We're not really here for any reason. We're going somewhere the next day and we have to stop over. But guys, every single time that happened, we would stop in a Chinese city and it was very surprisingly nice. Clean, neon lights everywhere, great public transportation, high-speed trains that get you from city to city. All my American friends out there that think, oh, we can't have high-speed rail because America's too big. Look at China, guys. They're crushing it with the public transit. Crushing it. Also with the surveillance, yeah, they just got a lot going for them. The police are doing their jobs. The surveillance state is up and running very nicely, and they have public transit. What's not to love about China? Yeah, so China is just a trip. Like you think you understand it. You think you understand even one state in China, in Xinjiang. You think you maybe are scratching the surface as far as comprehending this great nation. And then you go to a random city, don't expect much, and it's incredible. It's like as big as the 5th or 6th largest city in the US. It's like Dallas or something. And you're just popping up and you're like, I'll just check this out, whatever. And it's like incredible. It's just so surprising. China is a beast. China is a beast, man. Got to the point by the end of the trip where I was like, I kind of just want to go home for like my mental sake. Like my little small American mind cannot comprehend the size and scale and diversity, complexity of this nation. It's really a lot. So we stopped in Otomuchi, and I think we filmed. We may not have filmed. I don't think I filmed much. I think I was just really tired. Guys, by the end of this, I was really burned out. And Tommy was going at full clip. Like, that dude has so much energy. He can just go nonstop. He films everything, like all day, every day. If something interesting happens, he's got the camera whipping it out. Me, I like to film strategically. I like to film a little more lean, if that makes sense. Like, pick and choose my moments. Different styles. He still makes great stuff. I'm sure you guys have seen his videos. I don't have to vouch for him. But it was a lot, like always filming, always being on and stuff like that. And so I was not prepared to film in Otomuchi. I may have filmed something. I can't even remember. Just it all blends together after a while. China's just a fucking beast, man. It's a very intense nation. From Otomuchi, we took a 2-hour train to a little town called Turpan, Turpan. It's like an ancient Silk Road city. Big Muslim center. The Uyghur Muslims are still up in that bitch. What am I? Why do I speak like this? So that was cool. We got a tour around the city with this taxi driver who basically, I think we paid him like $50 to just drive around the city all day. It was incredible. We're like, stop here and wait for as long as we tell you. Right? And there's no tipping in China. Excellent culture. Amazing. So he would just sit there patiently. Maybe he would take a nap. We'd go off and film our little shenanigans. We stopped in this one little village where did I tell you guys we got... should I mention this? We got followed in Kashgar. I'm not sure if I mentioned that in the last episode. We were filming kind of off the beaten path, and a nice, friendly policeman was trying to keep us safe and was following us and taking pictures of us. So thank you very much to the nice police officers in Kashgar, doing their job very efficiently. But we tried to do something a little similar in Turpan. I'm not sure how to say it. It's probably like Turupani or something in Mandarin. Oh, by the way, do you guys like this shirt? You can buy a shirt like this. Smallbrandamerican.store. Very affordable pricing. A bestseller. You guys remember this? Do you remember when I got human trafficked in Vietnam? Yes. Had to commemorate the moment. Anyways, where was I? We were in some random village in Turpan. We told the taxi driver to stop. We got out. We see these old guys playing poker, smoking cigarettes, like hanging out during the day, like retiree age, just complete vibe. Old men, game, guys. I feel like in the U.S., they like start gambling when they're older, or old men are just... Anthropologically, we should study these guys because they are just into the craziest hobbies. Like when I was in Ireland, crazy side tangent. Does this episode have any linear progression? No, I don't think it does. It's just following my ADD little brain. So, yeah, when I was in Ireland, these all the guys at the motorcycle hostel were like super into motorcycles, right? And, they had just divorced, or they just retired, or they quit their job, or some major life event happened, and these guys are just like full fucking send. Who buys blue Corvettes? Old guys, young black guys, and like white dudes in like their 60s, right? Old white dudes in their 60s are unhinged. They're just acting like they're 50 years young. Like, you know what I mean? They're just, they should be studied, is what I'm saying. Very interesting people. So anyways, where the fuck was I going with that? Oh yeah, these old guys were like playing poker on the side of the road, smoking cigs, just chilling, enjoying their golden years. We keep walking. We see like a pickup game of basketball. These Uyghur kids are playing. They ask us to join. I swish the first basket, right? Perfectly. And I'm like, peace, I'm out. Perfect way to end this little segment of the video. And they're like, no, let's play a pickup game. So they made me play a fucking pickup game. And I thought I would handily win, and it did not work out. I got winded. Me and Tommy were old guys in our 30s. And, well, he's much older than me. He's almost 40. And we got schooled by the Uyghur kids. But it was really fun. Like, I feel like you can get away in countries. Like, people are like, oh, the language barrier this, language barrier that. And I'm like, I don't really buy that, like, as far as a reason not to go someplace. Because I showed up to China with, like, ni hao, she she ni. Tommy taught me some bad words. Like, lao suji means, like, playboy. So if you want to, like, you know, call an old guy a playboy, perhaps in front of his wife, see if they laugh, test the waters, I don't know. But I showed up with like no information culturally, just very small-brained American shenanigans. I'm really glad we had Tommy. He's a legend. But had no information about the culture, no language, whatever. And you can just get away with so much by a thumbs up, a little bit of extra charisma. You know, with these kids in this situation, I was like, Yao Ming, Yao Ming. And they're like, oh, he said, we're like, Yao Ming, oh, shit. You can just, you know, you don't need to learn the language. I mean, yes, it helps, obviously. But if you're there for a few weeks, don't bother. Terrible advice. But that's the way I feel. I feel like it's a lot more fun. There's a lot more mystery, a lot more cultural layers to unpeel when you're there. You don't need to do all the research online. Go there yourself and find out yourself. Okay? That's the beauty of Small Brain American. We just show up and figure it out, guys. Okay? We use our remaining IQ points from years of drug and alcohol abuse to figure it out and travel in the moment, guys. That's what we're doing here. Anyways, 12 minutes. Pretty good. Pretty good. What the fuck was I saying? Oh yeah, in Turpan, this dude was just like driving around, showing us around. Excellent time. Really nice freedom to be able to split a taxi ride with my fellow YouTuber and film some fun stuff. Because it's much better than taking a bus, right? A bus is like the cheap budget option, but you go directly, right? But with the taxi, you just hop out and fuck around, and then you find out. So we played the basketball game with the kids, ran off to a restaurant because we didn't want to linger too long. One of the kids asked if we could have lunch at his house. His mother would prepare it for us. And I wanted to jump at the opportunity. Instinctually, my heart and my YouTube brain wanted to jump at this opportunity. But remembering our little run-in with the nice police, or not a run-in, he was not overtly following us, but he was. After a little run-in with the cops in Kashgar, I went to Comrade Tommy and I was like, listen, man, this is probably a bad idea. I don't think we should be going in their homes. Hanging out on the street is fine. We're in the public space, whatever. But going in their homes, I don't think that's going to look good. It might put them at risk of something. I don't know. I don't know anything about Kashgar. I don't know anything about Xinjiang. I don't know anything about the Uyghurs. Please don't. If my friends at the Chinese police are watching, I'm not alluding to anything. Okay, I'm just saying maybe it would be risky. All right. So we didn't do that. We drove off, went into town, got some like traditional Muslim food, and surprisingly, it's a lot like Turkish food. I think Turkic people came from Central Asia and they immigrated into modern day Turkey. I think the Ottoman Empire like stretched up in Central Asia. I think I'm just relaying information I heard like 2 weeks ago from Thomas. But anyways, so the food, the culture, it's all very similar between, you know, Central Asian countries, and I feel like Western China falls into that category of, you know, Central Asian culture. So they have kebabs, they have like spiced meats, they have like meat dumplings and stuff like that. Really delicious food. So we go to eat there. Fun fact, got food poisoning from this encounter, but you know, that's neither here nor there. Not really relevant to the story. Just be careful in Central Asia. And we stop, we get some food, and this kid, the Yao Ming kid, the Han Chinese looking kid, runs over. He like followed us. He like ran over, the kid that invited us to stay in his home. He followed us into town. And he's like, are you sure you don't want to eat? Like, hey, are you guys good? Oh my God, Tommy, you can speak Chinese. Wow, amazing. So that was really sweet. I feel like kids are just kids everywhere. Like, and this kid had a lot of ambition. You know, he said he wanted to go to America. He loved to play basketball. Like, really just fun kid. Let's see. From there, oh, dude, that was the day, bruh. That was the day we rode in the tank. For whatever reason, I guess small brain Chinese tourists. Guys, the small brain family runs across nations. It knows no bounds. It is not racist, nor homophobic, nor transphobic, nor whatever. It's absolutely, there's just small brain people all over the planet. And there's many in China because there's 1.4 billion people that live here. So statistically speaking, some people are going to fall on the lower end of that IQ bell curve. Just talking facts here. So I think some of these nice Chinese people have been responsible for a lot of the tourist infrastructure in the great nation of China, the People's Republic of China. So in the desert, like I guess when these people think of deserts, they think of like four-wheelers, ATVs, camels, tanks, guns, just all kinds of good stuff. Maybe they think of like American films. I don't know. But you go to these like random places in China and they'll have all these things. They have tanks. They have camel rides. I don't know if camels are native to Western China. I don't know. But they're there. They're all over the place. And so me and Tommy, looking to capitalize on this fun little bit of Chinese culture, rented a tank. It's a ridiculous sentence I'm saying. I think it was like a Humvee. It was actually stick shift. I drove stick shift in the Chinese desert. It was very fun. They made us wear helmets. The driver gave us cigarettes. We were smoking cigs, driving stick shift in the Chinese desert. Very fun. There was like a, what do you call it? Like a machine gun on the back where Tommy was like manning the gun and we were driving around. Oh man, very fun times in the Chinese desert. God, just absolutely legendary time. It's moments like that where I'm like really excited, really happy to be a YouTuber because like it's my job to like document these experiences. And that's something that before I was a YouTuber, when I was just traveling the world without documenting anything, that I would pay good money to like be able to relive. And the fact that, you know, we're always filming everything and like trying to max out every experience to make a good video, it like just really, I don't know. It's just really nice to be able to like look back, and especially this podcast. I feel like this is almost like a stuff I would write in my diary, but I'm just holding a microphone, and I feel like it's actually better than a diary because it's more direct. It's like straight from me instead of like me writing it down and reading it years later. It's like the current version of me saying it into a mic and being able to like relay it to you and then relay it to my future stuff. I don't know. I'm getting very heady, but thank you guys for being here and listening. Honestly, the podcast is just for me to like have fun and recount stories for myself. And it's cool that some people enjoy watching it. So thank you very much. So from there we went, it's difficult to get like kind of edgy off the beaten path videos in China because everywhere you go, there is tourist infrastructure built in. Key prime example is the North Korean border. Like if there's anywhere in China that should not be like flaunted or bragged about or like documented well or celebrated, it's the North Korean border. Dandong is a prime example of this. I've already made 2 videos there. I don't have to tell you guys a lot if you're watching the main channel videos. Do you know there's a YouTube channel called Small Brain American that you should subscribe to? I'm not sure if I have dedicated podcast listeners. I don't know. I'm not sure who my audience is, but go over there and subscribe. Or guys, listen on Spotify. You can get second channel videos on Spotify. The video itself. That's incredible. You should go subscribe over there and you can listen, right? If you're on the subway or something, you got to catch your train, you can be watching the video and then shut your lock screen off. You don't need YouTube Premium or anything, and it just continues playing. It's very amazing technology. I feel like not many people know about it. And it's only a matter of time before that takes off. So go subscribe at Small Brain America. Thank you very much. Or Small Brain Pod. Don't even know the name of my podcast. Thank you very much. Anyways, what the fuck was I talking about? So the North Korean border. Kind of a grotesque celebration of one of the worst human rights violations ongoing on the planet. It's literally a concentration camp of millions of people stuck inside in a prison camp, essentially, unless you're like one of the few people that works in the government. But that's neither here nor there. I chose a random spot on the map, months ago before I went the first time. And I was like, I wonder what's there. It could be anything. Let's see what's in Dandong. And I show up and it's like a whole circus of like, hey, get your North Korean pins, get your North Korean cigarettes, get your North Korean money. It's very like a circus. It's pretty gross. And you can find random places on the map in China, and it's happening there too. Like they're dancing around, hey, come, ride in the tank in a random town in China. Like, how the fuck is this available here for billions of people? It's really just wild. I feel like Chinese businessmen are like really on top of their shit. We could learn a thing or two from those guys because they are just pure capitalists. If you're able to make money on arguably the worst human rights violation happening on the face of our planet, you've got some marketing chops. Let's be honest. Like, you can sell fucking ice to an Eskimo. You know what I'm saying? Like, anyways. So we pick a random place on the map. The tri-border area. I enjoy looking at maps. My autistic ADD self enjoys just perusing maps and looking for video ideas. Like, oh, hey, the northernmost point in such and such, the easternmost point in such and such. Hey, the tallest mountain here or the lowest lake here or whatever. These geographical little tidbits of information are very fun. I feel like they make good premises for videos. So I found one where it was the border where North Korea meets China meets Russia. Very interesting place. It's where these three dictatorships come together. They share a common border. They're great friends, especially in North Korea now, with Russia after Putin went to North Korea, or maybe it was Kim Jong-un went to Russia. I can't remember. But, they're forging this great friendship. And, just as an American, of course I want to see that. That's incredible geographical information. I want to go there and see it for myself. It's crazy. So I found this place on the map. I messaged Tommy. I'm like, hey, we should go here. He's like, I'm down. And then we planned the whole Kashgar, the western area. A lot of that stuff in central China was his idea. And then once we got to eastern China, that was kind of my wheelhouse. Where I was like, fuck yeah, I want to go to the eastern, the tri-border area. I want to go to Dandong. I want to go deeper at the North Korean border. Because last time it was just like a day or two. This time I'm going to spend 5 days exploring as much of that border as possible because it is so fascinating. China is pretty much the only reason that North Korea exists. Like, a little history for you, if you haven't watched the videos or consumed any information about the Korean War, is basically after World War II, there was this huge kind of power toss-up between the Soviet Union and the U.S. And after the U.S. beat Japan in the war, there was this power vacuum existed in South Korea because colonial Japan took over much of the Pacific theater. They went all the way down to Papua New Guinea, Indonesia, the Philippines, parts of China, Manchuria, which is a northeast province in China, and Korea also. So after Japan controlled Korea, the U.S. beat them. It was up to us to decide what would happen. But since the USSR also won the Second World War, they decided. Can you guys believe that I know some things? Check it out. Here we go. This is probably the one piece of historical, information that I actually know. So listen up, motherfuckers. So basically, it was like a toss-up with the Korean Peninsula. Are they going to be communist or are they going to be capitalist? So we split it with Russia, or USSR at that point. So we split it along the 85th or 35th parallel, something like that. Just like an arbitrary line between the two countries. And then one day, and depending on who you ask, the history is different, but according to Americans, the correct historical gathering is that after that happened, after we split them into two sides, the USSR controlled the North and America controlled the South. And according to U.S. history, the North invaded the South. They wanted to take them over and make the entire peninsula communist. But if you remember in the video, we went to the Dandong Museum against U.S. aggression on the Korean Peninsula. It's basically a propaganda museum, negating pretty much everything I'm saying about the history right now. They make North Korea and China out to be the good guys, and they were, slighted by the U.S. And the U.S. actually attacked, North Korea. The South actually invaded the North. It wasn't the other way around. So anyways, in their mind, the U.S. invaded the North, and then China went to go back up the Korean troops. Are you still with me? I know you're not used to learning things on this channel, but basically, the whole reason North Korea exists is because of China. The U.S. was kicking the North's ass. The South was demolishing the North as far as capitalist versus communist. We were fucking them up really bad. And then China was like, hey, we'll help you. They sent like 1 million troops, and then they pushed the tide of the war way in favor of the North. And then that's how we have the DMZ today. It's actually not even a border. It's technically still a war zone. And they call it DMZ. It's like a fucking propaganda name because it's the most heavily militarized border in the world. Ongoing conflict. Anyways, so that's how we got the North and the South. And we've come to this crossroads in the podcast, and I forget why I was bringing this up. Fuck. Why was I bringing this up? Shit. Well, I can't remember. We're just going to go with it. It's very fluid here at the Small Brain Pod, much like my gender. It changes from day to day. Yeah, so it's just a crazy-ass border, crazy fucking place, and very fascinating. But they've somehow made, that area a tourist area. The same with the tri-border area. Like it was, if you're Chinese, if you have a Chinese passport, it's very easy to get to. There's no checkpoints. There's no questioning. If you're a foreigner, it's very difficult. They have lots of questions. They maybe want to talk to you for many, many, many minutes at a time. They want to make sure that you're there in good faith, that you're not a journalist, that you're not a spy. They want to chat with you, especially if you have a camera. Brings all kinds of fun attention your way. Being a foreigner with a camera. So anyways, there was all kinds of tourist infrastructure stuff we could participate in. The Chinese people can take a fucking boat in the river. And by the way, guys, like the river between the two countries, they made us stop filming. They were like, we were in Tumen. It's this place where they send the defectors from North Korea. So if you're a North Korean person and you want to escape, by the way, a lot of them escape in the wintertime when the river freezes over. So we're approaching that time right now. I imagine there's people over there in the DPRK plotting their escape. And, we're there, and I just like to see things in person for myself. I want to see it. And, dude, the Tumen River. So there's two areas of the China-North Korea border. The main area is split by a river called the Yalu River. But there's the northernmost point of the border. I think maybe it goes down southeast directionally from there. I'm not sure. But it's a much thinner river where we were in this town called Tumen. And it's called the Tumen River. And it's basically like a stream. And I think we were there maybe in the dry season. I don't know. But the riverbed was practically empty. It was just stones and dirt and, grass and like a little bit of trickling water. And it's my assumption that perhaps the people that had lots of questions for us at the border might have been participating in some commerce with the great nation of North Korea. I'm not sure what they were up to. I can only guess. But it seemed like they didn't want us to show what was going on. Now, on the other hand, the nice Chinese tourists, the innocent, pure Chinese people, the Han Chinese people were there filming everything. You could get in a fucking boat in the river, this tiny little stream. You could practically step on North Korean shores. But us as Americans, we're not allowed to go. The same thing happened when that nice tour guide drove us way out of town to the other North Korean boat cruise. And they denied us because we had foreign passports and we were filming. So all kinds of fun surprises at these borders. And it's just really mind-blowing how I just picked a random spot on a map. I thought it was going to be the most difficult to get to, the most off the beaten track thing. And we showed up and it was just another fucking Chinese tour guide thing. It was insane. I mean, it didn't take away from the magic. I mean, although it did a little bit, but because still it was difficult for us. Oh shit. Are you still recording? Okay. It was still difficult for us to get there as Americans. So, just a very interesting part of the world. I'm really glad we got to see it. I'm really glad I went with Tommy. He helped me out so much with translating, and he bought a lot of shit for me because my fucking stupid phone wasn't working. Guys, if you go to China, you have to have an eSIM, okay? If you watch any of the videos, you'll understand why. It's such a pain in the ass. You cannot, literally, they do not let you have a SIM card as a foreigner. You can show them your passport and say, hey, here's my passport, here's all my information, happy to pay you for a SIM card. And they're like, oh yeah, sure, go to a translation company and get an official notarized translation of your passport. And I'm like, great, okay. Where is it? Show me where it is. Let's go. I need a SIM card really badly. Where is this translation place? And they're like, oh, I don't know. No one's ever asked me that. No one's ever gotten this far in the conversation. Most people just get so frustrated that they just go home. But me being there 2 weeks or however long it was, I was like, I have to have a SIM. And I couldn't get one. I literally could not get one. And then I went to another town a few days later, tried the same process, and I was like, hey, I'm happy to translate it. And they're like, oh, no, you can't even translate it here. Like, no, you can't have service here. You can't pay for things. You can't navigate. You can't translate. You're fucked, basically, without an eSIM. Okay, so that's why you should download Holofly. All right. I'm not sure if they're paying for this video. Probably not, but it's still like super useful. I mean, you have to have an eSIM when you go to China. Plus, it helps with like VPN stuff. Like, you don't need a VPN if you have Holofly, so you're saving money there. It's good stuff. Let's see, is that it? I was gonna say, like, all these touristy places in China, like, yes, they do kind of take away from the rawness of the experience when there's like all these mom and pops. But again, they're Chinese, and for two Americans to go there. Tommy has a fucking beard, by the way. He doesn't fit in Western China. They don't let the Muslims have beards there. He already looks suspicious. Also, he was carrying around a bomb in his bag. Like, we went to Dandong, and he bought this like liquor bottle of Baijiu. It's like horrific, like chemically liquor. But it was in a bomb container. Like, it looked like a fucking nuke. And he was just carrying that around. Like, he had it in the train stations. They let him on trains with a bomb. Like, that's so crazy. Yeah, he was like a big help in a lot of ways. But in ways like that, he was a fucking detriment. Like, he's running late for everything. And then we're almost about to miss the train. And like, now he has to be questioned about this bomb in his bag. And like, you can't even, I mean, that's not, how you say, that's not defensible. You know, you're fucked. You have a bomb in your bag, dude. But yeah, so, you know, in areas like that where it's really hard to get to, it's weird because it has this sheen. It has this facade of like, ooh, cheesy Chinese touristy stuff, whatever. It's like, it's like the cheesy little, you know, touristy bullcrap. But then for us, it was really hard to get there. You know, lots of risks involved. They never see tourists. They're very suspicious. So it's like you're looking at this kind of like fucking Six Flags or like Disneyland version of something. They're like, ha ha ha, North Korea, isn't this fun? Ha ha ha. And then I'm here like terrified inside. So it's a weird contrast. I'm not sure how it's going to look in the videos. But yeah, if you guys watch any videos from China, thank you very much. Yeah, support me on Patreon. I post full length, uncensored, ad-free videos. Usually end up being between 50% to 100% longer. So like up to double the length of videos if you want a little more raw look at what I'm up to. And yeah, guys, that's it for now. Thanks very much for listening. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.